Okay, so good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here with us. I'm gonna give just a few more minutes for those who would like to join us. Let me see. We're going live also on Facebook. Let me verify it. We are live already. Yes, we are. That is correct. Yes, we are. We are live. So in the meantime, we have Miss Denise, who is going to be assisting and us with the chat and getting people admitted into our training today. My name is Jasmine Castellano. I am also a consultant with CARD at USF, and I'm very happy to be here with all of you and very happy to share this information with all of you. So I will going to be sharing my screen. Let me lower this, and I think this is what I need. Okay, and I'm gonna close here. I don't know, can you see it? Can you see the slide? Okay, perfect, awesome. So let's go over here and let's go from the beginning. Can you see it? Can you see the slide? Okay, great, that's fantastic. Awesome, perfect. So so we're going to be talking today about transitioning to adulthood. It is an area that a lot of parents has come to me, and I'm pretty sure to Ms. Barnes as well, about, you know, resources. What do I do? What happens right after my child turns 18 and now he's an adult? How can I help him and he's not independent? What's going to happen when I'm not here for him or for her anymore? Who's going to take care of my child? I mean, there's a lot of questioning and concerns as parents, which I totally understand. My daughter is also on the spectrum. She's only 11, and I'm already concerned about all that and asking myself the same questions. And she has two older siblings, so I've been, you know, preparing them. One of them is already an adult, so, you know, like, hey, you know, if by any chance I'm not around, I need you to be on the lookout of your sister. So there's a lot of concerns in that area, which totally understandable. But before we start into the topic about transition, what I would like to do is to provide you a little tiny bit of information first of who we are, what do we do, and a little bit of information about autism. I don't want to assume that, oh, everyone who is here or everybody that is watching us, they already know what is autism, they already know what CARD is and what CARD does. So I want to start with that. Okay. So what is CARD? CARD is the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities. And our center is located at the University of South Florida. And what do we do? Well, we provide services to all individuals that are diagnosed with autism, also with any related disabilities like deaf, blind, hearing, or vision impaired, or other disabling conditions. We also serve family members, friends, and we get referrals either from professionals, parents, legal guardians, school, community agencies. And we provide a little bit of more services than that, but just, you know, very briefly. So the University of South Florida, the office that for which I work for, is located at the University of South Florida, and it provides services to all these counties over here. I don't know which one you're, okay, on the purple. However, if by any chance you move, as you can see, we provide services throughout the whole state of Florida. Okay, so we have a center a little bit everywhere, which is good because you can continue to get services. I don't know if you are aware, excuse me, but the CDC just released the new statistics in regard to autism. And as you can see, it keeps increasing as up to now in 2020, we have 1 in 54. I mean, that is positive. It sounds bad that it's positive. It's positive in the sense that it's not that we have more people or individuals with autism. It means that we are more aware of it as professionals in the medical field, teachers, social workers, mental health, everyone. We are more aware about it. And because of that, we are able to identify those red flags and be able to provide an early diagnosis and hopefully, well, the services that they need. So basically, in regard to autism, there's a lot of things that, of course, we do not know, like what causes autism. However, we do know that there is a genetic and neurobiological and the environmental factors involved. And just very briefly, we know that the autism has different, how would I say, red flag symptoms that are important to be in the lookout for. One of them is the impairment in social communication and interaction, that we can see that. Another one is that restrictive and repetitive patterns of behavior, interest, activities. It is present in early childhood. Limits or impairs everyday functioning, and it is not explained by intellectual disability or global developmental delay. So those are the things that we need to be in the lookout, and those are the red flags. Now, what is transition planning, which is what we need to be talking about. I want to let you know, if you have a question, please feel free to write it on the chat, and Ms. Barnes or myself, we can answer to you. I can answer also throughout the training, which is perfectly fine. So, transition are services provided to any youth with special needs, and is to assist with transition process to adulthood. In other words, any program, any services that the child or the youth can participate in, and it will help them to be able to start that process into adulthood, okay? Transition services can start as early as the age of 12. So sometimes as parents, we think like, actually, we are so caught up with so many things that it's not that we don't think, it's just that it doesn't, we didn't realize it until out of the sudden we wake up, because, they grow up so fast, and he's a junior or a senior in high school, and then it's like, oh my gosh, and now what, Yes, it is very important to start this process as early as 12. And I will say even before, yes, there's some programs, as it is my understanding, that vocational rehabilitation starts services at the age of 13. There's other programs that can start at the age of 12. But honestly, when we're thinking about transitioning and that transition into adulthood, what we want to see is for our child to be independent. It's not, and being independent is not only in terms of getting a job, be financially stable, and that's it. I mean, it requires, and we know, because we are adults, and we know all the responsibilities that encompass when we are talking about being independent. And the reason why I'm saying that it is important to start as early as possible is that as soon as, let's start by developing those independent skills in your child since birth. I mean, little by little, let's start teaching your child how to be more independent, you know, and that's the most important thing. That's why I say that it should start even before the age of 12, you know. We need to start developing that independence. And the transition process should be, number one, should be smooth. It should be gradual. It should be continuous. It should be coordinated. And it should include your youth, your child in the process and goal setting. So what I'm saying is that it is very hard, and we know that it is very hard for people with autism to have changes, and much more sudden changes, right? So that's the reason why this transition process should be very smooth. And I want to start. The first thing that we need to do is to include that youth, that child in this process. Why? First of all, because we're talking about his or her future, so he should have a saying in it. Number two, because it gives them a sense of control, which is correct, which as a result, we reduce anxiety, and he knows what to expect because he is involved in that. He's the one who is determining what do I want, how do I want it. If how he wants it is not an option, then these are the options. You can pick or choose one of the options that I'm providing. So it has to be a collaboration between the parents and the youth or the child. It should be gradual. Why gradual? Because we start, you know, with the basics, and then little by little, we're going to be challenging that child into the next steps of developing those independent living skills, okay? It should be coordinated, as I said, by professionals with the parents or caregivers and the child. Continuous. It's not something that you started now and then you stop, and then a year later you start again, or trying to take it where you left it. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Let me see the other one. What are the benefits of planning a transition process? First of all, increases independence. As I was explaining before, we are little by little assisting and challenging and developing and supporting, that child to develop those independent living skills, which in the long run, okay, in 6, 7, 8 years or 10 years later, you will see the results of it. So that's another thing. We cannot give up and lose hope, because this is something that is for the long run. Okay, it's in the long way when you're going to see those skills. And sometimes we have these ideas, and every little tiny step towards that one little tiny independent skill that the child or the youth develop, hey, we're winning. We're winning. It's something less that you have to be concerned or worry about. So increases independence, which is one of the things that we want. Also is opportunity for success at home and work. Why? Because he's been developing all these skills, you know. He's been getting all this training as of how do I need to behave, what are the things that I need to do, what are the things that I have to say, how can I manage my whatever, if there's anxiety, or, you know. So it's something that he's learning, and because he's been getting this training at an early age, of course it is expected, no, for the child or the youth to be successful at work. And why at home? Because he's also learning how to be independent at the house, at home, either if he decides to stay with the parents, or even if he decides to live on his own, or on a facility that will assist him. Early implementations increase the probability for continuous employment, salary, and a better quality of life. Again, if we start, this is like when the child was that, if by any chance your child was diagnosed early in life with autism, and we started early interventions, and we started the therapy and speech therapy and physical therapy and occupational therapy and whatever, and we spent, at least I was, spend years and every day and hours, and I didn't see the results right immediately. Now is when I'm seeing the results. I'm talking about 7, 8 years later. Okay, so, and this is the same process. We start early in age, and then later on you're gonna see those results. And this is as so far an effective way for your child to have a quality of life, which is one of the things that as parents we all want. We want our kids to have a quality of life. So we know that our children with autism, they go through a lot of challenges, okay? For example, living independently is one of the challenges, and everything that encompasses. I mean, it's about all the bills that they have to be in charge of, make sure that they pay in everything on time, holding a job, doing the household chores, safety in the house. It has a lot of things, and we know that life is not a routine all the time. There's things, life events that happen, and how are they going to manage all those life events? Full-time employment is another challenge. It's very difficult to obtain a job to begin with. And if we add the fact that on top of that, a full-time job is even harder for them. Developing social relationship, which we talk about, how that's one of the areas that our kids with autism struggle with, with social relationship. And that's one of the things that are needed when in the workplace. Communication skills is another one of the areas that our kids with autism also struggles with. Repetitive behaviors, it's very important for them to have the same routine that give them that safety and security. However, as I was speaking, when we are in the workplace, most of the time, well, not most of the time, but it could happen that at some point during your workplace, there's not going to be as the same routine. Something is going to happen, and how are they going to handle those situations? Several health conditions, most people with autism, they can have seizures, or they can have GI difficulties, like with the the stomach and why not, or with their muscles, or who knows. They come with usually with another health conditions. Another challenges are post-secondary education. Usually they are non-successful at it, and they ended up being suspended. I have few cases with that. And of course, the increase of depression and anxiety, because this is all like a cycle, no? I mean, they know they want to become independent. They want to do things all by themselves. They want to complete a career. They go to school, they go to college, and for whatever reason, X, Y, and Z, different, each case is very different. But the thing is that, they don't finish it, or they get suspended, they go to work, sometimes they get fired. And, it is a cycle. And then because of that, they ended up being, with more depression and anxiety. So according to some researchers that I was looking into, it says that 83% of young adults with ASD, they live with their own parents. Another research says that less than 25% have competitive jobs. And another study says that young adults with ASD, those that are employed, has an average of 5 hours of part-time work a week, 5 hours a week. That's an average, I'm not saying that all you know, those that are employed with autism, the only thing that they do is they work only for 5 hours. That's an average, you know, based on the research that they performed. But you know, it is a reality, and it is sad. I mean, there's no way you can live out of a salary with a 5 hours part-time job. I mean, that's not, it's not a living. And again, the same cycle, and that ends up into depression and anxiety. So based on that scenario and everything that we have in our at home, you know, with our children, what can we do as parents? You know, what choices do I have? Well, let's assist your youth in learning. For example, it is very important to help your child into learning those independent skills, as I was explaining at that earlier age. You know, like the other day I was mopping the kitchen and my little one was like, Mom, I want to do it. Oh, perfect. Come on, let's do it. You know, it's very hard for her to control the mop, and she was holding it incorrectly. Well, I was teaching her, this is how you hold it, this is where you put your hands, you put your hand this way and this way, you know, and make sure that you cover all the areas. And was she struggling? Yes, she was struggling. She did not have, that's one of her areas where she struggles the most, is with, you know, with fine motor and gross motor skills. So yeah, it was hard for her, and but she did it, you know. And you know, little by little, we're going to keep doing it, first of all because it's going to help her with fine motor skills, and second of all, it's going to help her to develop those independent living skills. Does it mean that she's going to have to mop the whole thing? No, 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 just a little tiny area. It's about her learning to have those skills. The same thing with cooking. She doesn't cook, of course, by herself, but she helps me, and I take care. Once the stove is on, I take over. But everything else, she knows, and she knows, for example, how to make macaroni and cheese. You know, she knows the process and she knows how to do it. Why? Once I turn on the stove, I'm in charge. She doesn't, because yeah. But she knows the process, she knows what to do. So as she grows bigger and she develops more control over her skills, she will be able to at least get some mac and cheese and eat, okay? So it's little by little teaching her, like, and she also has some minor chores at home, very, very minor. So again, little by little, and everything goes according to the abilities of your child. Driving is important. If your child, if you can teach them how to drive and how to be independent in that way. And here in Florida, that's is very important, learning how to drive. And finance management. In here, I have this book. It says, I will teach you to be rich. And I got it because one of the parents from our board, constituents board, she recommended it to me. She has a son. He is in early 20s, probably like 20 or 21. And he's working at Publix. And she bought this book for him so he can start learning how to manage his own finances. And he started reading it, and according to, I haven't seen it, but according to what she explained to me, it breaks down everything into very simple steps, to the point that he's able to sit down with his boss and he just pretty much repeats what the book says, like some quotes. It seems like he has some quotes, and he just, you know, repeat the same quote to his boss. And he is learning about his retirement. He's learning about bonds and investments. And he comes to his mom like, Mom, today I did this and this. And Mom, I asked for, I was looking for, I don't know, for a credit card, for example. And I said this, and this is what they told me. You know, so he always check up with Mom, which is important because they are learning in this process. But he's taking the initiative, you know, to do it himself, all by himself, by following what the book is telling or instructing him. And that's wonderful. He's learning to become more independent and financially independent. He's learning how to manage, the world outside. So that's something that you can check as well. Another important thing that we as parents can do is volunteer and or job experience, not us, our kids, and as early as possible. Let's say you guys are, either at church or you are part of a community program, or even if you are, gathered in a activity with friends and family, let's teach them. For example, if it's friends and families, talk to one of your friends and tell, hey, I want to teach, my child to be more independent and like how to conduct if for example, this were like a job. So let's make it like the job and you're going to be like the boss, and his job is going to be to make sure that all the cups are on the table. An example, something very simple, and of course for the little ones. And hey, and when he has a problem, no, don't talk to me. You need to talk to Mr. Smith. He remember that he's your job and your boss, and that's it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, probably that's as much as, the job is going to require. But he's learning how those social skills. He's learning those communication skills. Okay, oh, I cannot go with mommy because she's here, but she's not going to do anything. So I need to go with, I don't know, Mr. Smith, because, and it's kind of a game, and most likely he will engage into it. Most likely he will put one cup and then he forgot about the rest, and, so we can, but we are teaching them. If you're part of a church, of a community a program, so yeah, the same situation, but then a little bit more formal. No, talk to such and such because this is what you're doing now, and just make sure that you're doing it right, and you don't, as a parent, don't get involved in there. Just let them, let your child to how to communicate and how to do that volunteer job. As they keep growing older, then they can, volunteer into organizations, and why not? The same thing with job experience. If they can have if they're 15 or 16 and they can have a part-time job, a few hours, 2-3 hours, a day, probably twice a week, something like that, and it will help them to develop those skills. As parents, it is important for us to keep those high expectations. We need to be realistic. It's not to fantasize it, but don't lose hope. You know your child, and you know what are your child's strengths and your child's capabilities, and you're going to hold on into that, and you're going to maximize those strengths as much as possible. Okay, and keep those high expectations. Like for my little one, she loves science, and she says, Mom, I want to become a doctor. Hey, why not? She's behind academically, okay, but hey, I'm pushing through it, and I don't know if that's what's going to happen in the future, but if that's what she wants, who knows what's going to happen. But I have those high expectations, and the same thing that I always tell her, like, all my kids, after, they finish a career, but I want you to finish a career like your brother, like your sister, when it's her turn, so I have those same expectations for her, but being realistic, of course, as well, within her current strength. But I keep challenging her, and I keep motivating her to do to maximize those strengths in her. And advocate. This is very, very important. As parents, we need to be advocating. I have a few parents that their kids are now in college, studying college, so they're young adults, and the way they've been handling it and the way that I've been suggesting it is like, okay, let's say your child has a situation with math teacher. Well, you're gonna go and this is what you need to address, and let's see what happens. Let them go first. Let them be the ones who start trying to solve that problem. And then you review with your child. So what happened with the math teacher? Oh, this is what she said or whatever. Okay, let's give it the benefit of the doubt 1 or 2 days and let's see what happens. If nothing happens, then you go and then you advocate and then you talk. Make sure that everything is in place. If there's some type of a plan, so that all the teachers are aware of that educational plan for the child that is already in place. Get in touch with the office of for disabilities of the college. Make sure that they know you. Make sure that you know them. You know who to contact. Have the contact information, and constantly following up and advocating for your child. Not only in college, but also in everyday life. Okay, so there was this research completed by First and Chicsamora, Teddy, Mauer, etc. And they asked these youth or young adults with autism about, okay, what would you identify it is successful for stress management? And this is very important because our children with autism, they are not different than us. I mean, if we get into stress by living independently and by being adults, because life is stressful, right? Our children, they are no different. I mean, they're going to be facing life and they're going to go through a stress, and they, it's hard as well. They are not exempt. So it is good to know what did they identify being with autism as being successful and helpful into managing all that stress. Okay, so one of the things that they identified is, they identified a couple of things, is seeking support, spirituality, building the self-esteem and confidence, which is one of the hardest, not only for our people with ASD, but overall, I mean, across board. I mean, we are not exempt about that either, building our own self-esteem and self-confidence, okay? Books, also they identified music and exercise. So I'm gonna explain a little bit about each one of them. Okay, what is seeking support? So our kids, or the kids that were interviewed in this research indicated that they felt safe to talk about their feelings, about their problems with adults, such as the parents or the teachers or counselors, that person that they have a trust, a connection and a relationship with. And they also identified their parents' support as helpful in developing problem-solving skills. So in order for this to happen, it is very important to have a connection as parents, have a connection with our child. And that connection cannot start when the child is a teenager. The connection has to start since birth. And basically it's listening. First of all, is listening to that child. When your little one comes to you and he's upset because he couldn't put the Lego piece where it was supposed to go, or not where it was supposed to go, where he wanted to be, and then there's Legos flying everywhere, okay, and they're upset, right, after that little meltdown. If we, or big meltdown sometimes, so we can process that and we can try to listen to them. Say, well, what happened? Why? How come that is important for them? And try to understand. And by listening, I mean be present at that moment. You know, you are really listening. It's not like you are on your phone and like, no, it's like you are listening. Your eye, there's as much as possible eye contact, if that's possible. If not, but that the child knows that you're listening, that you has your full attention. um, so that's number one. Number two, let's celebrate their accomplishment when they come with this little drawing, you know. And so let's celebrate that, and they want to show it to you. Excuse me, let's pay attention to that. And oh my gosh, this is so beautiful, you're so talented, I love you. And then let's, you know, provide them with the specifics about what is good about you. Look at the color that you're using here. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful you were able to color within the lines in here. I love that you match this color with this color. Whatever it is, be as specific about what do you like of what your child did. So those are different things that it helps with connecting. Excuse me. It helps with connecting with your child. When I would say that probably like last year, my daughter was doing these little tiny paper toys, which is fantastic because she loved the paper toys, and I didn't have to worry about buying any toys because she's building it herself, you know. But the flip side of it is that, God forbid, that little tiny thing that it was like this got lost. And having a child with autism who also has ADHD, you know how that goes. It's gonna get lost. So I not only had to worry about having everything that I needed and, you know, keep track of everything that I have to take track of, but also I need to make sure and be mindful and remember that that little tiny piece of paper toy cannot get lost. So, but you know what? It is important for her. And because it is important for her, it should be important for me. So that's how, you know, we build that connection. Another way of building that connection is by teaching our kids to express their feelings. You can get feelings chart in your you know, on Google, and you as well as your child talk about those feelings every day and what happened. And sometimes your child can give you an advice on, you know, how to cope with that feeling. Or sometimes we'll bring you a stuffed animal so you can feel better, and that's their way of, you know, of helping. All those little tiny things is building that connection. So when they become teenagers, okay, they can feel safe to talk to you about their feelings and their problems. And by teaching them how to identify their feelings and problem solving since they are little. Okay, so that's another good way. And in that way, when they become an adult, they are able to communicate to their boss, you know, this is how I feel in this way, and this is the way I would like get to be resolved. So that is why I was telling you at the beginning, it is very important to start this process as early as possible. The same way that we are starting the process of, you know, learning how to eat by themselves, or how to walk, or how to use the pencil. This is also important to start as early as possible. Okay, let's go for the next one. Spirituality. So we have prayer. It was one of the ones that were identified. We have meditation, which is relaxing, breathing exercises, church attendance, which helps with social relationships, and yoga. And again, these are the things identified by this group of youth on this research. Meditation, relaxing, breathing exercises, it is very important if you can incorporate that in your daily routine. It helps a lot, so they can help to identify their anxiety, and they are able to learn how to control that anxiety, and also they are able to learn how to control their mind. And this is not only for them, you should also do it with them, you know, make it a family activity. Building self-esteem and confidence. So we know that most of our kids with autism, they are victims of bullying, right? And that definitely affects their self-esteem and self-confidence. So how can we work with that? You know, how can we teach them? Because we are not there. We are not in the school. We are not at the park. We are not there 24/7 with them. Um, and we will not be 24/7 with them. If we are now, eventually we will not, because they're going to become adults. So how can we teach our kids the skills so they can maybe tumble, because that's life, but they can build and get back up. So positive thoughts, focus on accomplishments, journaling, or if they don't want to write, because that's, you know, I can understand that. So talk to me, tell me something positive that happened on your day today. Tell me or share positive thoughts. If they have a cell phone, send them positive messages. There's a lot of different positive quotes that we can send over the cell phone, you know, and that's, you know, that is very helpful. Setting daily goals, you know, what are your goals? What is your goal for today? What do you want to accomplish today? Okay, and help them to set daily goals and increase independence. Do an independent activity daily. So what is going to be your independent activity today? Oh, today I'm going to cook myself mac and cheese, for example. Oh, perfect. You know, I'm here if you need help. Do you have a recipe? Or help, let me help you to find a recipe. Okay, so whatever it is needed. So every day, you know, set a daily goal. What happened? Let's say that your child had the goal of, oh, today I'm going to make mac and cheese, and the mac and cheese ended up being burned. So it was not successful. So we teach our kids since they're little all the time to embrace those failures, because I don't like to call it failures, I think, and I call it learning experiences. So we embrace them, and that's perfectly fine. That's okay, not a problem. So what happened? Let's process this. Let's see what happened. Oh, what happened? Oh, okay. So what do you think we need to do next time? I don't know what I'm going to do next time. Okay, perfect. Well, I think, what about if next time we can do this and this and this, and we can provide some suggestions, okay? And we can try it again. Let's try it together, okay? And so they are learning experiences. So we are not afraid of failure, okay? Book, music, and exercises. So reading a book, it could be fictional or motivational, listening to music, playing an instrument can be one. Exercise is very important. You can make it part of your family routine. Either walk, play sport at least 3 times a week. And exercise helps a lot with reducing anxiety and depression, as well as it has a lot of good physical benefits. Now, what are some of the resources that we have? So at USF, we have the Learning Academy, and this is a message from our director, executive director, Dr. Beth Boone. And the Learning Academy, it assists with that transition process. Okay, it's located at the University of South Florida, and they understand the person's strengths, needs, interests, and they work with the individual and their loved one in goal setting and how to develop those independent living skills. We also have, and I'm sorry, I have another screen next to me, so I'm going to be looking at this side of the screen. So we have the Project 10, and Project 10 is assists the Florida school districts in building capacity to provide secondary transition services to students with disability in order to improve their academic success and post-school outcomes. And I invite you to look at their link. We have the pathways also, which is a series of online modules designed for individuals who work with transition aged youth. So it's another good alternative. And I think we have, oh, okay. Yeah, they're putting the links in the chat. Thank you, Denise. So let me see. We also have the Family Network on Disabilities, which is a national network of individuals of all ages who might be at risk. They have disability with special needs, and their families, professionals, and concerned citizens. They have a lot of resources for all, not only for our child with disabilities, but also for parents and professionals as well. We also have My Next Move, that also this one is pretty good as well, because it tells you, it guides you as to you know, careers and work placement according to, you know, to your search keywords for careers, and then from there it will take it from there to help you know, excuse me, or help our child to have like a little bit of, okay, where do I go with this? Like, what do I want to do? We have the National Parent Center on Transition and Employment. And there's a picture in here of, you know, what do they do? For example, they connect youth to different careers. And there's a video over there, of course I cannot click it, of a 9th grader. Okay, so you see how early they can start. She's only on 9th grade. Also parent tips for supporting success in high school and beyond. So I invite you to look into that. Building a resume. What are the tips in building a resume for and also college options for students with intellectual disabilities. That's another good area to look into. Then we have Employment First Florida, which is, you know, looking for employments here at the state of Florida. That's another resource. We have Think College, and it is a national organization that is dedicated to develop, expand, and improve inclusive higher education options for people with intellectual disabilities. So I invite you to check on that one as well. It's about post-secondary education. We have Ticket to Work, which connects you with free employment services, and it will help you to decide if working is right for you, prepare for work, find a job, maintain success while you're working. So there's that resource, there's the support. There's also Identifor. Actually, I invite you to go into our YouTube page. We had an interview with a representative today in the morning of Identifor, and it's an excellent program. It's free of charge. So I invite you to look at that video. It's on YouTube. And it's a tool that was created to help people get and keep a job and to be more independent. It has a few different parts, including it is the first world's game based career assessment tool. So they're playing games like video games all the time, and it will help them to develop those independent living skills, not only with finding a job or careers, but also with, again, independent living skills, all independent living skills. And they have artificial intelligence app that they can have in their phone, and the name is Abby, and is a great support for every little tiny area. So I invite you to look into it and work with it. And this is another resource that we have. This is through the Hillsborough County, and they have email is youth@careersourcetb.com, and these are for children between the ages of 16 and 24 that are interested in getting access to training and start their own business. So these are services under the program: high school diploma, GED, tuition assistant, OTT, paid work experience, apprentices, career coaching, exploration, training, etc. I mean, it's a great program, but just for those that are in the Hillsborough County area. Okay. And that will be for me from today. Do we have any questions? You can unmute yourself, I think, and let me know if you guys have any question. Ms. Barnes just put our the resources over in the chat, so just I invite you to copy and paste those links so you can have them accessible and you can try them with your youth and gather. There's a lot of information, a lot of resources, a lot of support on those websites. Is like, wow, it's like I went to each one of them to explore, and there's a lot of information and guidance. And sometimes that website will link you to another website that, you know, it can, which is what you're looking for your own child. So I invite you to look into it. Any questions that you might have that I can answer? There's 2 messages on there.
You may need to unmute yourself to ask a question.
Yes. Lots of amazing resources. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Miss Candace. Really appreciate it. I'm looking through the chat. Thank you for having me, my husband Robert. Okay, thank you, Miss Candace.
Yes, those who attended will make sure you get a copy of the PowerPoint.
Okay. COVID changes some of these. Any best practices in the new world we find ourselves? Yeah, that's correct. I mean, COVID has changed a lot and continue to change a lot. So many things, and it's very unpredictable and uncertain. Like, yes, definitely, it changes a lot in terms for our kiddos to get a job, to get be able to find a job. That's it. Before it was difficult, now is harder. The fact that a lot of things are going virtual now. The school, most school districts are going virtual as well. It is definitely. Any best practices in the new world we find ourselves? A lot of reassurance for our kiddos. A lot of work on ourselves. I mean, we are their strength, and if they see that we are, we as parents, we are, how will I say, not keeping it together, we can put it like that, that we are not in peace, that we are not relaxed, they feed out of us, of our emotions. So let's try to keep everything calm. There's like vocational rehabilitation here in Florida. They are providing services. They are virtual, but they are still providing services. A lot of these programs are still providing services, and they are providing services virtually, which is very, very good. And as I said, this is, you know, continuing a process that it has to be, you know, all the time in a developing. Yeah, keep calm and carry on. That's correct. Yes. And that's where, you know, meditation and yoga and breathing exercises and journaling and spending quality time as a family, practicing expressing feelings and identifying feelings and talking and active listening and playing games and, you know, watching a movie, talking about, you know, the movie that we're watching, and what do you think, how he expressed his anger or his sadness or his happiness? How do you think he's so happy about? And make everything a learning experience. Everything, every little tiny thing, every experience can be a learning experience. Sometimes we don't have to make time for it. Just whatever is happening. I use music a lot, and not only with, you know, my child with autism, with my well, now he's 21, but when he was a teenager, I used it too. We listened to music, and sometimes it was K-pop, which is Korean pop, and only God knows what they were singing. But you know what, I was asking, what do you think is the song about, and what do you think is a, you know? So did I like to hear that in my car for 1-2 hours? No. But you know what, it was a learning experience. I didn't have to make the time. We were in the car, we were driving, we had to do what we had to do, might as well. Okay, everything is a learning experience. How can we get connected with a coordinator at CARD to help navigate the best path and resources to use based on our child's strength, current needs and strengths? I can provide you, well, we have the phone number over here, the 1-800-813-974-2532. We're working from home, and that will be my work cell phone number, 727-266-5892, and my email. Or the phone number, the 813-974-2532 can be also. Oops, I don't know why it went privately to Ross. And we also have our website. So you can contact us. Let me see. And on a side note, offline, anyone? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is, that's why it went to, okay, I'm sorry, I'm responding to a private, chat. Okay, perfect. Anyone else who has any other questions? I don't know how to get this. Oops. So let me go stop sharing. Okay. Thank you. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone who participated. If I would like, I don't know if Ms. Barnes has the evaluation, the link for our evaluation. If not, I will put it in our Facebook, and I will appreciate, it will take less than a minute for you to fill out this evaluation form, and it will help us a lot, because that's how we can prove that we are providing you with information, resources, and assistance, and that's what we are here for. There you go. We got it in English and Spanish. Thank you, Miss Punch. Oh, you sent it privately to me. Let me. Oh, there we go. She posted to everyone now. Perfect. So please, it's less than a minute. Honestly, it will help us, not us, it will help you. So we can keep providing you with information and resources and be here for you, for all of you as families, okay? Well, I wish you a beautiful evening and a wonderful weekend. It is Friday, yay. So hope you have a wonderful weekend and stay safe, stay healthy. Okay, thank you for being here with us. Bye-bye.